Nuh-uh.
Okay. What? No. That's way too close.
It's fine.
Why are you so far away from me?
Because my voice is strong and masculine.
And oop.
Let's run this up the flagpole and see if it waves. Is that the proper terminology?
I've never heard that one.
And oop.
Okay, so I'm a good person. I'm still a good person. I was getting into an elevator this week. And again, I don't think it needs repeating, but I'm a good person. If I see someone behind me making their way to the elevator, I will hold the elevator door open. Well, I do the move where I put my hand on the elevator door, like where the rubber part is in the middle of the elevator doors. And sometimes there's a sensor there. Sometimes your hand needs to touch the rubber, but it keeps the door open. So earlier this week, I walked to the elevator. I didn't see anyone behind me. And so it was just another day of getting in an elevator. I pressed my floor button. I was going from 1 to 2, which comes into play later in the story. So I get in the elevator. I turn around. I face the closing doors. It's another day of mundane life. Doors start to close. Whatever. I'm by myself. Nothing's happening out of the ordinary. Suddenly, now the doors are probably 2/3 of the way closed. And suddenly I see these two hands reach through from the outside. And they're a woman's hands. One of them is carrying a cup of coffee. The other has a purse on it, and the purse straps are on her wrist, like around the wrist area. So both her hands were in essence immobile. Like she couldn't freely swing them. She couldn't reach really quickly between the doors and press the rubber thing so the doors know to open back up. And like I said, the doors are 2/3, maybe 3/4 closed. Now, from her perspective, if I was her, I would have taken the L and been like, I'm going to miss this. I got a coffee in one hand. I got my purse on my other arm. I'm not going to be able to reach in there quickly enough. It'll be too much of a struggle.
Very dangerous move there, what she did.
Yeah. And so, but she did not take the L. She put her hands in between the closing doors. They're nearly closed. It shocked me, and I was like, whoa. So I try to reach my hands really quickly in between the doors also. And the doors open, but she's kind of discombobulated because her coffee and her purse, her arms are not free waving, free forming. So she gets in the elevator. I think, okay, she wanted to get on the elevator really bad. Okay, whatever. And because this does tend to happen, if someone barely makes it in, and you just have a laugh, you go, oh, you barely made it, or you say some stupid comment like that, oh, you almost missed the elevator. You have a laugh, you have a smile. But this one was not her prerogative. So elevator doors reopen. She comes in. She looks at me, and she looks down at the button area where all the buttons are. And she goes, in the future, you want to press this button. And she's pointing at the button that opens the doors. She says, in the future, you want to press this button so your coworkers don't get hurt. And I said, okay. And then I was trying to recover, trying to save grace, trying to just let her know that I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know. I didn't see her. I'm a good person. I didn't want her arms to her unable to move freely arms to be injured. So I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. And she goes, "Don't even." And I said, "Holy shit."
Wow.
Lady. And then if we were going up one floor and it was the freaking longest elevator ride of my entire life, I felt like I was in Die Hard or Speed or something, and the elevator just moved very slowly.
Most awkward 15 seconds of your life.
It was horrible. So I just stared straight forward. I was quiet. And we went from first to second floor. I was getting off at the second floor. Doors open. I leave. And she goes, "Have a nice day." And I said, frigid, cold. Now, okay. Now, she points to the button that opens the doors. But I'm not the person, because if you get into a hotel where there's 40 stories, there's a whole buttload of buttons, and like the symbols are confusing. Like the triangles pointing to each other means close.
Yes.
And then if it's like a less than and a greater than sign, then that means they're going. That's why I always put my hand in between the doors.
Putting the hand, or you know what I do? I do the foot. Stick my foot.
Okay.
Hand or foot, much quicker for anybody to get their body part there.
Yeah.
As opposed to pushing this little button. First you got to find the button on the panel.
You got to find the button.
You don't know where it is.
Yeah.
It's much faster to just reach a limb.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
And I don't think, even if you push the button, I don't know how quickly it's going to react.
Yeah.
That's another thing, lady.
Yeah. And it was her insistence on, and this building has 3 elevators, always working. A 4th if you count the cargo elevator. So she should have just been like, "I'm not going to make the elevator."
Yeah.
I got a hot coffee in one hand and a heavy Michael Kors purse on the other arm, like and then to get in and give me vitriol and lecture me on the geometry lesson of which button is to open the doors.
She was rude and
unbelievably
way out of line from the get-go.
Yeah.
But the most egregious part of this is when she interrupted you trying to apologize.
Yeah.
And said, don't even. That is the part that I can't get past.
And so I'm thinking, I mean, technically we are coworkers on some. We both work for the same organization.
You're not. Okay.
We have the same parent company.
Okay. Yes.
So instantly I'm like, I hope she's not a big wig or big shot. I don't know this. She's 50s lady. I never recognize her, but I see 1,000 people a day. 990. I don't recognize. But I was like, ooh, I'm in trouble. But I had my hoodie on because it's been cold, zipped all the way, so she couldn't see like my uniform, my shirt, and I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't tell anyone or find out who I am or get back to my boss.
You did nothing wrong.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Well, that was my saving grace because I have 0 incidents of having disagreements or arguments or just not getting along with people. Again, I'm a good person. My mama raised me right, honey. My mama raised me good. I treat my wife right. I treat my baby right. I treat my family right. I treat my coworkers pally right. So I started to get worried, but then I was like, well, it'll be her story against mine if it comes down to that. And I have a pattern of behavior where I get along. I'm very genial. But then I saw her. So that was Tuesday, I want to say. But then I saw her on Friday again. Well, the rest of the week, every day at that I'm in that building in that specific area, pretty much at the same time every day. Every day I was looking for her. I was like, oh my god, watching my back. Will she recognize me? But then I saw her on Friday, and first of all, she was wearing tight leather pants. Really, lady? Okay, you're in your 50s. Let it go. Age gracefully. It's called knowing when to let it go. But I did see her wearing tight leather pants. And I ignored her. I didn't go out of my way. I didn't like hide or anything. But so I wonder if she saw me. I'm hoping she didn't, and she just went about her day. But yeah, I won't have to see her. Yeah, possibility of see her for. Actually, I'll be in that building in a week or so.
Oh, you'll see her again.
Yeah.
And this time, push the button that makes the doors close.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong button. I usually put my hand in the middle with the rubber parts, but you had me looking for the button, and I'm not out here. I'm not a geometry major. I just see triangles facing every which way. I don't know what's going on. Normally I would have saved you, lady. Normally I would have saved you, but you had me press the button on the bottom left.
And oop.
So you spoke to your mom, Liz Fisher, on Tuesday night at 6:15 p.m. around there, and it was a quick conversation. But then you got off the phone, and then tell the internet what you told me when you guys got off your phone from a short conversation at 6:15 p.m. Tuesday night.
Well, I turned to you and I said, my parents are on their way to my niece's soccer game.
Wow.
And why is that shocking, you might be asking? Well, for you and I, we were like already post-dinner.
Yeah.
In pajamas.
Yeah.
The next thing on our minds is when are the kids going to brush their teeth and get jammies on and go to bed?
Right.
And here my parents are out in the world driving to an activity.
Yeah. So 6:15 p.m. I was like, well, is the game at 6:30 p.m.? Is it at 7 p.m.? And I mean, I haven't played soccer in 35 years. But if it's a half hour long, if it's an hour long, 7 to 8, and then we'll just your parents getting home, or even like Peyton and her parents getting home at 8, and then is there any homework, you got to shower, maybe you want to chill, watch some TV. So, but yeah, from your parents' perspective, being grandparents, Tuesday night out at 8 p.m. for a granddaughter soccer game, that blew my mind.
It was shocking to me, and it's so different from our lives.
Yeah.
We don't go outside after dark.
Right. Right.
And it occurred to me, our kids aren't currently in any sort of extracurricular activity. Mm-hmm. But anytime they have been in the past, it's been stuff that's taken place during the day.
Yeah.
We don't have anything going on at night ever.
Yeah.
And so it's shocking to me that people are out there in the world doing these things while we're in our house, like thinking about bedtime. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being at a soccer game at 8 p.m. in my 30s or 40s or at your parents' age. And like we come home, we shower, and then, well, if something quote unquote needs to be done, I always tell you to tell me, hit me up before I shower, because once I shower, I'm done. Like, I'm ready to eat, and we might watch some boob tube. We'll read a little, but I'm out. I don't want to go anywhere. So if whatever, the trash needs to be taken out, Frankie's poop needs to be cleaned. What other manly things do I do around the house, honey?
Well, you know what? we do have our little routine that we're very comfortable in. But as our kids get older, we might have to start going places.
No.
After 6 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
When they're in high school, if they have activities and who knows what.
Well, here's another angle. If we're retired, okay. But your parents are still working, dude. And they're still out there.
My parents are very active.
Yeah.
They work. They go to any event their grandkids are doing. They have tons of friends.
Yeah.
They're constantly being social.
Yeah. We've had them over a few times, like Saturday afternoon, whatever. And their day started like Alan Fisher played, what is it?
Frisbee golf
with your brothers at 6 a.m. and whatever, Elk Grove or something.
By the time we see them at like noon, it's their third activity of the day, and they've got 2 more events to get to that evening.
Right. That blows my mind. I know. And yeah, so we said, so we went to darling daughter, Luna Marie. We said, Luna, if you have kids, and then her first response, I'm not having kids. And we were like, okay, good. Good job. Good job. Good job. Goodbye. We love you. But if you have kids, Luna, don't be expecting us to be showing up.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Well, again, if we're retired, okay. But if for whatever reason, if we're still working or still have active lives, and Saturdays, I'm all about that.
I was just going to say, maybe we can commit. We'll be weekend grandparents.
Yeah.
But don't expect us during the week.
No weekday grandparents. No.
And oop.
Okay. So a Facebook ad got me. It was a t-shirt that said Pho Shizzle, PHO, the Vietnamese soup. And I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. And it cost $16.99. And I was like, cool, I'm sold. And I clicked on the advert, as they say in Britain. And it took me to a website called indoberry.com, which I've never heard of. But why would Mark Zuckerberg have a merchant of ill repute, of a disreputable merchant on his social media platform? So I typed in my information. I ordered the t-shirt. 4 days later, I still haven't gotten shipping confirmation or anything. And so I was like, well, this is why I don't want to buy anything besides on Amazon. Because Amazon, for all of its ills and wrongs, it's pretty trusty. So I email indoberry.com, whatever that is, and they send me an email, and I say, hey, I want to cancel, and my order number, whatever, 1234. Please cancel my order. And then they emailed back, Gabby from the support team at Indoberry, honey. She says, hello, Vincent. Please help us with the reason for cancellation. And I thought, what? That's odd. So then, and on Amazon you can cancel, but it's a drop-down menu, and like they're dumb. Like I order created by mistake, and it just takes you to the next screen. It's super easy to cancel. But Gabby, from the support team at indoberry.com, wants a reason for the cancellation. So initially I was about to type, I don't want it anymore, or it's taken too long to ship, something like that. But then I thought, well, if Gabby is making like a judgment call, like I need to up my ante. I need to go to the extremes. So I replied to Gabby at indoberry.com. I don't know if that's her real email, but from the support team, my reply was, I'm canceling because I'm broke and I need money to feed my kids. Which,
you can't argue with that.
Right. So Gabby, unless you want my kids to be starving, cancel this wacky pho t-shirt. And then she replies with, Vincent, I have good news for you. Your order number 1234 is successfully canceled. We've initiated a refund from our end.
She sounds like a real human being.
Well, I feel bad for quote unquote lying, but on the other hand, well, I don't owe them anything, and they don't care. I just wanted my refund, and I wanted to make my situation as dire as possible. I bet if I would have said like, "Oh, I don't want that shirt anymore," she would have replied with, "Oh, the shipping process is already, the production process. Your shirt's already printed. It's off to the carrier for sorting." So I lied. People died, but I got out of it, and I'm proud of myself. And after you know whose example I followed, honey?
One Mr. Lennox Albert.
Lennox Albert Garcia, who broke his Chromebook and lied to the officials.
And oop.
Okay, so it's February 6th. On February 4th, Lennox Albert Garcia, darling son, turned 10 years old. And he, for the entire week, we were like, what do you want to do? Do you want to party? Do you not want to party? Who do you want to have over if you do want to party? And he just couldn't come to a decision. So he eventually settled on you bringing some baked goods to his class.
He said, I kind of don't want to party, but can you bring some treats to school for my class?
Yeah.
I said, sure.
And oop.
Okay, so this most recent Christmas, you baked cinnamon rolls for my work and cookies and brought them in. And it was a grand old time. And you were thinking something similar, right? For Lennox's birthday?
Yes. I haven't taken treats to the kids' school for their birthdays in a few years, but I have a few times done cupcakes, just bake some cupcakes and take them.
Yeah. And you emailed his teacher to figure out, you sort out the logistics, and what was the response?
Yes, I was wondering if there's any restrictions because of obviously COVID going on.
Yeah.
And I know they do have a ton of rules in place because of that. So she wrote me back and she said, yes, you can bring treats. That would be great. Store-bought would be best due to COVID.
Yeah.
So I was actually surprised that I'm allowed to bring anything at all.
Yeah.
Because they're so strict there.
Yeah.
It wasn't entirely surprising that she requested store-bought, but I was a little sad because I would have liked to bake something because I think that's fun.
Totally. And just to, I think it illustrates just how no one knows what the hell how to quote unquote fight COVID. Our COVID policy was, the last time we had food, no pizza parties. So we couldn't be reaching our hands in the same box of pizza to grab a slice. But you could, and we got the okay from my boss, my upper management, whatever. You could bake treats and bring them in, which you did. But Lennox's school said, no, you can't.
Store-bought, sealed. Yeah. Sealed packaging.
Make sure there's a sticker. There better be a sticker. No tampered.
But what about the Walmart bakers?
Right.
That are back there baking.
Right.
What do they have that I don't?
Right. Well, why is that? Why are the grocery stores even have food anymore? Although, if you've been to grocery stores, there's a lot of food missing lately on the shelves. Mm-hmm. But yeah, where do you? How high up the chain do you take it? Or is all food manufacturing going to robots? So that was one thing. So you had to buy treats. You went to Target, and it's early February, Valentine's Day, obviously February 14th. So a lot of the stuff you bought was like Valentine's Day themed. Yeah. Lots of pink frosting, lots of red frosting.
Pink and red and little heart sprinkles.
Yeah. And so I took a look at them. I was like, oh, this is kind of romantic here. So I suggested to Lennox to give a pink muffin to his crush in his class, and he was like, nah, he wasn't having it. But then then you were like, well, Lennox, can I come in and bring the treats?
Yes.
And
he said absolutely. He said, "Do you have to?" And then he asked me multiple times, and then the morning of, he kept saying, "Are you coming into my class?" Or he really didn't want me in there.
Why, are you cringe, honey?
And then
are you awkward?
And then he said, "Well, how long are you going to stay?"
Are you going to embarrass him or something?
I guess so.
Well, when we were talking about this at dinner, he said, Da Vinci, which is me. He said, Da Vinci can come to my class. And I was like, what? Because well, you were off, or you were working from home, and I have to go to work. But that, I think that's because he's a boy, and I could see, like, when I used to be a young man, honey. I used to be a little boy, but back then I would prefer my dad or stepdad instead of my mom, just cause my mom she's a mom, and it can get a little awkward.
So I shouldn't take it personally. Is it just
correct?
A boy of a 10-year-old boy starts to get embarrassed of his mom at a certain point.
Yeah, and I think the opposite. Like, Luna would rather have you go to her class than me. That's what I would assume. You had, when you were a kid, you were used to be a young girl, honey. I don't know if you know, but your mom was pretty active in school, right?
Yeah, my mom was able to. She volunteered in our classrooms, I think, for all of my siblings.
Yeah. So
I remember her being in the classroom like once a week, and then she was always there for drop off and pickup and volunteering, and she was like super involved. Yeah. And I loved having her around. I don't recall a point ever getting to a point where I was like embarrassed or didn't want her there anymore.
Cringe. Yeah, I had I've the one memory I have is my stepdad Curtis, aka Grandpa Curtis. My elementary school, John F. Kennedy Elementary School in the southern part of San Diego, they had something where a parent could come in and observe, and it wasn't even the full hour. It was like 15 minutes. And so I remember Kurt coming in and him just kind of sitting off to the side. And I was like, well, this is odd. And he just sat there and the class went on. And then that was it.
That's kind of odd.
Yeah, it was. And then he left and I was like, okay, well, that was...
Were other parents there? Do you remember?
No, there were no other parents. Yeah, maybe he was the only one who took that offer up. Took him up on that offer. And I'm not sure what well, I mean, I think it'd be cool to go to one of the kids' classes. Oh,
I would definitely take that offer if it was available. It's kind of a strange thing for the school to have the parents come to.
Yeah.
It's like, it reminds me of like going to SeaWorld and watching an animal and like come observe the child in their environment.
Come witness Shamu in his native environment. That's not his native environment, honey. Ever see Blackfish? You and Luna just watched that this week, actually. But yeah, I think it's a boy thing, and I lift. I don't know if you know, honey. I work out. So Lennox would have had me proudly on display, like, this is my buff stepdad. But yeah, as a boy, I would have preferred my stepdad to show up, which he did that one time. It was 5th grade. So I was Lennox's age, exactly. But yeah, over my mom. And I love my mom. She's a darling. But y'all, Kurt's more chill and low key. And
dads tend to be, don't they?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I get it.
Although, if I did something similar, I would have just, like I do now, I just stare at Lennox sometime because he's so flippin' funny and he's always moving around. He's always messing with Frankie. He's jumping over here. He's dancing. He's fascinating to observe. He's the human boomerang, as I like to call him. He's better. He's all like watching him and watching Frankie are better than any television show, any movie. More engrossing, absolutely. I love just watching Lennox, just watching him eat, and then like he notices I'm staring at him, and he'll be like, "What?" or "Dee," which is his sound.
Yeah, he makes a lot of noises.
Yeah, he makes the best noises, the funniest noises, the wackiest noises.
And oop.
And then you had the store-bought treats, and from your understanding, emailing with the teacher, you were gonna go to his classroom and deliver them, right?
It was a little vague. We agreed on a time, and we confirmed a time over email together. Mm-hmm. So I kind of thought, oh, it sounds like I'm going to be able to go to the classroom, but I wasn't totally sure. Mm-hmm. So on my lunch break on Friday, I drove over to the school and I took the goodies and I went to the office and I told the secretary that I needed to take these to the classroom.
Yeah.
And
you needed to.
I have an urgent mission.
I'm a DoorDash driver.
And the secretary told me, okay, you have to leave them here. Parents are not allowed on campus because of COVID. Oh. I said, okay. I was sad.
And then Lennox, what was this? He like brought a backpack over?
Oh, okay. So the way that they ended up getting from the office to the classroom was Lennox himself took them because his classmate is in a wheelchair, got injured.
Yeah, he hurt himself.
So Lennox had to take the kid his backpack. So from the classroom, Lennox brought the backpack to the office to the kid in the wheelchair. And then while he was there, he picked up his goodies and took them back to his classroom.
Very involved. And then this also made me think of another memory. When I was his age, this was at JFK, John F. Kennedy Jr. I think I was a little younger, but it was potluck. Everyone brings food, and we're gonna gorge ourselves in the classroom. Me and my stepbrother Kyle, for whatever reason, we decided to bring ants on a log, which, if you don't know, is celery, and then you put peanut butter in the little divot, the little dip there in the celery, and then that's the log, and then the ants are pieces of raisin on the peanut butter. And it's a fantastic snack, and so we had the celery, we had the peanut butter, we had the raisins, and then possibly a misjudging, a misstep in my parents' parenting. They gave us a steak knife to bring to school. So we had celery, we had peanut butter, we had raisins, and we had a steak knife, and we brought all those contraptions to school. And so we were sitting there cutting up celery.
So you guys actually had to cut the celery. Did you use that steak knife to do the peanut butter? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, my parents are going to give us 6 different knives, honey. That would be nuts. But we were sitting there cutting up celery with a sharp knife during the break before class started and the potluck started. We had a real knife and we were cutting up celery and using it to spread peanut butter.
Amazing.
I know, it's amazing that we didn't get sliced up or cut or just the knife, an accident happened. But yeah, it's different now.
So different.
And oop.
So I was listening to a podcast and the topic was teenage crushes, and the panel talked about who their teenage crushes were, and I thought about who mine were, and then I asked you who yours were. So I thought this would be a fun topic to dive into. Teenage crushes, honey. Would you go first? Who were your top 3 teenage crushes?
The earliest going back in my life had to be Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yes.
He was the first standout.
The middle child from Home Improvement.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. Very handsome.
Voice of young Simba in The Lion King.
Oh, yeah. And then he reprised his role whatever the new Tim Allen sitcom is. It was canceled, but he did a guest star thing. He still looks great. Still looks pretty much the same. A little older, obviously, but still a handsome kid.
He was adorable, and he had that floppy, long haircut of the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, with those flannel shirts.
Yes.
And, yeah, he was definitely a heartthrob. And then, like, his older brother in the show was he was like a freckled kid. And then his younger brother was kind of just a dorky.
I can't even picture the younger brother.
Dorky younger brother.
JTT was clearly the standout.
Yeah. But he never went on.
No.
To do nothing.
I wonder if like being a child star scarred him. Hollywood chewed him up and spit him out.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably got bitter. Like, you only care about my looks. It's like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, cutie.
Adorable JTT.
And then as I got older, more in my teen years, they're obviously Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, he was hot at the time doing Romeo and Juliet, and then Titanic.
Oh yeah,
Titanic came out when I was in middle school.
Wow.
And I saw it 5 times in the theater.
Yeah.
You were in college.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, he had The Island and whatever else. He was just
The Beach.
The Beach.
Yeah,
That's what it was called. Oh yeah.
Shutter Island was his other movie. Yeah, he's been hot for 40-ish years or whatever. Dreamy. So dreamy.
Oh, yeah.
And then your number 3.
Another
crush.
one that stood out in my mind was Ricky Martin.
Oh, dear.
Martin. Ricky Martin. I had a giant poster of him in my bedroom.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, he was super hot. Still is, man.
That's true. He's still very handsome, very good looking. And then I don't know if you know, honey, but Ricky likes boys. When you found out that news, was it soul crushing?
No, I was like 30 when I found that when he came. Well, I think it wasn't a shock, but
the Barbara Walters interview, whatever.
Yeah.
But so you kind of knew, or
well, I mean, kind of like it wasn't shocking, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think, even if he had come out when I was younger, I don't think it would have affected my crush. Because he was still beautiful.
That's true.
His poster would have stayed up.
Was it like from Livin' La Vida Loca?
Yeah, that era.
Oh, handsome man. Cleft chin, honey.
Okay.
And those, he's got that divot in his chin. My 3 teenage crushes were... that came to mind. First one, Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss. Super cute, and she grew up to be beautiful. And then she did, later in life, obviously, she did a movie where she took her top off. She showed her breasts.
Oh my!
Yeah, and the clip is on Vimeo, which is if you have something mature that YouTube can't handle, you throw it on Vimeo. But I remember watching that clip on Vimeo and seeing her breasts and being, wow, that's something. Yeah, she's still beautiful, and she's kind of a nut job now. Right-wing nut job. But definitely loved her on Who's the Boss. Samantha Maselli and her dad, Tony Maselli. Next one was Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell.
So pretty.
Beautiful. Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yeah.
I also really think Lisa Turtle, Lark Voorhees, is very pretty.
I loved Lisa Turtle.
Yeah.
Loved her. And Kelly Kapowski. They were so hot. Like,
yeah.
I was a little girl watching that, just thinking they were so gorgeous.
Yeah. Lisa Turtle, beautiful. But Kelly Kapowski had the tall thing. She had the cheerleader thing. And the long brown hair. And the whole Lisa Turtle screech thing, because every once in a while she would like give him a chance or kiss him on the cheek or it was like, dude, yeah, Kapowski's juggling AC Slater and Zach Morris over here, super hot. And then the third one that I thought of my teenage crush was Kelly Bundy from Married with Children, aka Christina Applegate. I thought she was so hot.
Yeah.
She's so like, and then they put her in like the tightest, shortest mini skirts every single week.
Yeah.
The long blonde hair, and she had like the rock and roll thing, and constant jokes about her sluttiness. Yay! what a creative choice for character. But yeah, I thought she was it. She was so hot, so beautiful, so pretty, and still is. I mean, she was in. We watched the first season of Dead to Me, right? It's a Netflix show.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah, still very attractive. So those are our 3, and then Luna's 3 are a kid from Stranger Things, a kid from Chucky, and Tom Holland. Or she doesn't like Tom Holland.
She doesn't. She's not very open with her crushes because it's so cringe to talk about.
And oop.
So we took this week off from the gym, and your birthday is January 31st, and so we did a moist January kind of thing, and we targeted your birthday to just let everything go. But up until then, we were mostly strict, pretty on track with eating and working out. But we took a week off from the gym, and what did you think about this week, honey? Not going to the gym at 5:45 a.m. 4 days a week. Weekdays.
I miss it, sort of.
Yeah.
But I am so happy that we've been sleeping in and snuggling.
Yeah.
And waking up a little bit later.
I've been holding you.
Yes.
Like you demand. like you ask of me. And sleeping in, I mean, we still have to go to work. So we're sleeping until 6:30, 6:45.
But it makes such a difference, that extra hour.
Yeah. And one night this week, like I didn't sleep well for whatever reason. And I was like, oh, that's extra hour is night and day. And it's very appreciative. But on the other hand, it's time to get back to work. I'm juggling whether or not to take another week off from the gym. Just because, like, well, according to the internet, you have, if you take time off from the gym, your musculature doesn't recede for a month. That seems high to me.
It does. But what do I know about the human body? Right.
What does Google know about me? But it has been a nice week to chill, but I miss my gains. I want my gains back.
I feel a little smoochier.
Yeah.
My booty isn't popping quite as much.
Yeah. And plus you made casserole today with a bunch of pasta.
I'd made a darn good casserole today.
And then you made hamburger helper with more pasta. So it was carbs on carbs today. And then you bought me a bag of Sun Chips, honey. What was the other thing I was snagging on?
And oop.
Oh, last night we ate so much homemade popcorn with melted butter.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
And you made Jell-O today. And it wasn't the sugar-free Jell-O. By the way, you made that Jell-O because for Lennox, who claims he never had Jell-O, him and Luna got into the most bizarre abstract argument where Luna was like, "You've had Jell-O," and Lennox is like, "I've never eaten Jell-O. Grandma Bev gave you Jell-O. I haven't had Jell-O." It was like, what are you guys arguing?
Yelling at each other.
It was very odd. But so you made a pan of Jell-O, and it was fantastic. And Lennox was frightened of it.
I put some on a plate, a little jiggly square on a plate for him. Yeah. And he's looking at it and he was going,
Yeah. And I was like, dude, it's like a jiggly Kool-Aid.
It's sugar.
Yeah.
It's practically candy.
It's sugar.
And he was poking it and like squishing it in his fingers.
And I was like slurping it down, and I'm like, dude, it disintegrates in your, because they like cotton candy. Yeah. So I was like, it's like cotton candy. You just put it in your mouth. It starts to melt away. It's a good old time. And then he ate a little, and he was not a fan of the jiggly texture.
He didn't like it. He couldn't finish his square.
Yeah.
And
it was his no square.
So he's finally at age 10 tasted Jell-O.
And he was not a fan. And then you threw whipped cream.
Oh yeah, baby.
On Jell-O. And first of all, is it strawberry Jell-O? Or
it's strawberry Jell-O.
It's red. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure I've had it once in my life, but I was like, well, I'll try some whipped cream on this Jell-O, but I didn't like it.
Oh yeah.
It's like the whipped cream is like a dairy thing going with this Kool-Aid kind of flavor.
I forgot how much I love that. I used to eat that pretty often. Jell-O with whipped cream on it. It's delicious to me.
And oop.
So anyways, the sleeping in has been fun. The carb loading has been fun. But it's time to get back to work. Time to get back on track. So we can enjoy the off-track moments and the KFC Beyond Nuggets, which were horrible. But yeah, it was fun, but you can't live like this all the time.
And oop.
Alrighty. Are we done, honey?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate. Or don't. Do whatever you want. You're a grown-up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for squarespace.com. We don't have a promo code for squarespace.com. Goodbye. I love you. We love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, I may have lied to get $16.99 back, but I'm still a good person and we're still good people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day/night. Bye-bye.
And oop.
We got chicken.
Is that crispy, juicy tender?